What's going on, everybody? This is Intelligent Thoughts, episode number 41. Probably the last Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor breakdown that's going to happen just about anywhere on the planet Earth. We're looking at like 7 hours before the fight, or before at least the pre-card starts or the undercard starts. But that's what it is, episode number 41. Floyd Mayweather, the MayMac breakdown, we'll call it here. I need to come up with some theme music so I can actually officially start the show. I'll have to do that here in the next little bit. I'm not even really sure where to start with this. I mean, everybody kind of knows. There's been so much coverage on it. You know, it'd be pretty redundant to go over all where it began. You know, who each fighter is. Floyd Mayweather, obviously undefeated, 49-0. You know, most likely the greatest defensive boxer to ever live. Conor McGregor, some kind of fucking meteor, some kind of Irish meteor, coming out of left field, knocking everybody the fuck out. UFC fighter, no boxing experience, if anybody doesn't know at this point. But it's going on tonight. It's going to be a big payday for both of them. I just read a minute ago. Floyd Mayweather guaranteed $100 million, expects to make over $200 million. That's with his percentages of the pay-per-view dollars and the total gate dollars and everything at the, I believe, T-Mobile Arena tonight. As far as young Conor is concerned, he is guaranteed $30 million through his co-sponsor or co-promotion from the UFC, and is expected to clear $100 million, mainly because of the gate and the pay-per-view. Again, I think there's different portions coming out, if it's from like the UK or Europe versus if it's from certain parts of the United States. I'm not entirely positive about that, but I think that's where the more major percentage-wise discrepancy is in favor of McGregor in this one here. What else is there really to talk about? Let's see. Everybody, you know, the whole, I guess the question everybody has is, you know, can Conor box? And, you know, obviously he can to some extent. How well? You know, that's what we're going to learn tonight. We know who Floyd Mayweather is. We know what Floyd Mayweather is going to bring to the table. You know, what we're looking to see here is can Conor present a threat for Floyd Mayweather? And he didn't show a ton during any of the open workouts or anything. Everybody's making fun of the spaghetti arms, the whole spaghetti arm movement thing. I thought it was pretty fucking sweet. But literally showed absolutely nothing as far as any striking is concerned. Basic like foot movement drills and like shoulder movement and shit like that. So, you know, and that's probably a good move from Conor as far as not giving up any of his cards, not showing any of his cards. He's going to take whatever bag of tricks he's going to take into the fight, and he's not going to let you know what they are at all before the fight. And that's probably his best chance to win the fight, if I had to guess. Puts him in the most advantageous position possible. On the other hand, Floyd Mayweather also, and if you look at his open workouts, didn't do a lot. You know, hit the heavy bag and stuff, and you know, hit some stuff a little bit, but also, again, didn't really show a whole lot of working out, didn't show a whole lot of, you know, of what we're used to seeing from Floyd, actually. It actually looked a little bit like a lot of his pieces and stuff like that were taking it easy, like the embedded, like, what was the Showtime thing or the UFC embedded? I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, it was kind of a different take from the Mayweather camp as well. I don't really think that's going to really play as far as tonight's concerned. I mean, we all know who Floyd Mayweather is. Defensive boxer. We're going to see shoulder roll. We're going to see great footwork. I think maybe, you know, so we've heard that Floyd Mayweather's bet like $10 million on himself, and he's guaranteed a knockout. It's not impossible that towards the later rounds, if he feels like he's getting the better of Conor, he might go for a knockout. You know, he might try to put pressure on Conor, which would obviously open him up. But that would probably be the only real difference in any Floyd Mayweather fight, or what we would, traditionally think of as a Floyd Mayweather fight. That would probably be the only difference we might see tonight, is him actually pushing for a KO. He hasn't had a legitimate knockout, since he knocked Ricky Hatton out in 2007. So it's been 10 years. He did knock out Victor Ortiz maybe like 4 years ago or 5 years ago. But that really wasn't the same. Victor Ortiz thought that the ref had stopped the fight, and he kind of made a mistake there, and he didn't have his hands up, and then Floyd knocked him the fuck out. So, I mean, Floyd is, not the most exciting fighter of all time, unless you're a real boxing specialist or a purist or really into technique. I like Floyd. One of my favorite boxers to watch, but definitely not the most exciting for the average fan, at least. With that being said, you do kind of expect, they're both the pay-per-view kings. Floyd right now holds the record for the highest pay-per-view of all time with his fight against Pacquiao. I think it was like 4.5 million or something like that. This is expected to be right around that same number. Possibly more. It was originally expected to be more. I think the amount of people watching it will probably be more. I'm not sure if the pay-per-view necessarily will be. We're going to see a lot of groups of 20 and 30, I think, watching this fight, places and shit like that. Which was, the same as the other fight too, but this one has, I would say, obviously coming from more of an MMA spiel myself, a much broader base and a much wider range of people that might be interested in this fight. I've been hearing people, just at the bar, going out to restaurants and stuff, random people just asking random questions about it. People will give you a little 3-minute, like literally people that don't know anything about boxing, don't know anything about MMA. People will be asking, just who are these people? What is this? What is that? They tell them, somebody will tell them this, this is basically the best boxer of all time. Basically the most, dynamic, if you count his promotional skills and everything, MMA fighter of all time, or at least, at least presently, but you'd probably say of all time. It just presents such an interesting, it's a show. It's just going to be a great show. And you see it because, a lot of these people that don't know anything about it before they start asking the questions are interested in watching it just to see what happens. Very, very casual. Not even casual fans. People that aren't fans of any of the fight games are going to tune in to watch this tonight, which is very, very rare. That is not normal at all. Only really for McGregor fights and Mayweather fights, and that's really only the case where that actually happens, at least in America, as far as mostly for the most part. So you're also talking about, let's go with this, the fans and some money aspects here, the gambling lines. Let's talk about that for a minute. As you guys know, I love that shit. When the fight was first announced, I think 2 months ago, or maybe 2.5 months ago, Floyd Mayweather came out at a minus 2,000, 20-1 odds. Conor McGregor plus 1,500, 1-15 odds to win the fight. So much money and so much hype, honestly, has gone behind the McGregor camp, or the McGregor train. A lot of it coming from just, some of the, Joe Rogan's podcast, Big Brown's podcast, like some of the biggest podcasts in the world. And just media in general, man. Or ESPN, people are obsessed with Conor McGregor. And the more legitimacy that he had, honestly, bringing in Paulie Malignaggi was probably a really fucking smart idea, especially after he got that that knockdown on it, and it clearly was a knockdown. Everybody that watched the video knows that was a knockdown. And honestly, if Malignaggi says he was pushed down, he had his head pushed down and everything like that, if he thinks that, he probably got hit harder than he did, or he probably got hit harder than he thought he did. So that actually brought a lot of legitimacy to Conor's boxing acumen. So did what people don't necessarily understand. In Ireland, it's a prep sport. So the way in the United States, how like wrestling, like when you're in junior high or high school or any of that stuff, you can do wrestling. It's pretty common. As like almost every high school and junior high has a wrestling team and all that. In Ireland, it's a boxing team that they have. And so he, while not being nearly as experienced as Floyd is, boxing. Floyd's been boxing literally since he was 3 years old. And, there's great videos of that. Conor has more experience boxing than you might think. And he also has an awkward style, and that proved to be effective against Paulie Malignaggi. Malignaggi, clearly said that Conor won, basically, not won, but, kind of hinted that Conor won like 7 rounds, essentially, against him in the 12-round fight, including the knockdown there. Paulie's a 2-time world champion recently. I mean, he's been retired for 2 years, and he wasn't in shape and everything, I understand that. But, I mean, for a guy that supposedly has no boxing skill, that's definitely not going to be the case. That's pretty obvious that's not true at this point. Now, Paulie Malignaggi, no disrespect, is no Floyd Mayweather by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, Floyd, not only... So Paulie is more of a brawler even and stuff like that. Not only is Floyd better, he's damn near the GOAT, but he's a defensive boxer. So he actually is a completely different style, a much safer style to fight with, and a style that if you can master that, that's obviously the reason he's 49-0. You really wouldn't be able to be much of like a brawler probably and fight the level of competition that Floyd has fought, which is good. Everybody, a lot of people bag on it, but he has a very, very good resume. You wouldn't really be able to fight these people and be a brawler and be 49-0. That's just pretty much you'd have to be, literally, you'd have to be some kind of a fucking monster. So, we are not talking about Paulie Malignaggi here. We are talking about Floyd Mayweather. One of the best spacing, one of the fastest, great footwork, you know what I mean? The shoulder roll, surprisingly hasn't really been adopted by many boxers. A little bit, but it's not used nearly as often or as effectively as it is by Floyd. It's great defensive technique, though. It obviously works for him a lot. He's great with his head movement. Floyd's going to be hard as hell to hit. Floyd is going to be hard as hell to hit today. I'm pretty sure, I guess we can get into the technical aspects here. Make this short and sweet. Obviously, Floyd is going to try to use his some range. This is only going to be the second time he has fought a person with better reach than him. I think Conor's got a 74-inch reach, Floyd 72. Conor is about an inch and a half taller. He's like 5, he's about 5'9.5". I think Floyd's about 5'8". He's actually probably going to be the slower fighter in this, too. That's almost never the case either. He's almost always the faster, rangier fighter. So I think that might be one of the things that could present a problem for Mayweather. You combine that with the fact that Conor is used to fighting with more space even. He's used to fighting at almost a kicking distance and jumping in and out and landing straight lefts and, hooks and things like that. But his thing is the straight left. Coming from basically a kicking distance, hop in about 2 feet, land a straight left, long-ass arms, shoulder follows through, gets more extension on it than even his reach just because of the way his shoulder follows through. And that's what that spaghetti arm technique is actually all about. Like all the boxers and shit making fun of it, that's 100% what it's about. It's to be able to loosen yourself up like that. You see that, not the spaghetti arm technique, but you see that with the good boxers, people like Terrence Crawford who throw their shoulder that far forward and shit like that. That's a great technique. And, that's how he's able to accomplish it. He's extremely, extremely mobile. He's strange the way he can move his body like that. So I think, I wouldn't be surprised if Conor doesn't win the first 3 rounds, I think Conor is going to do well. I think they're going to be just about even rounds. I don't really expect him to land anything too significant to the head. I think that he's going to actually kind of go body hunting and shoulder hunting and chest hunting and shit like that. I expect Conor to land a lot of straights just to the chest, man. Just hit the body somehow, hit the arms. All that's going to take a toll on Floyd. That's going to be his plan. The way to beat Floyd is going to be you'll have to connect with the body. You'll have to slow him down. You'll have to get him hurt from the body, and then you could possibly connect with the head. The thing about that situation is If Conor can stay to the outside,